Obama did this executive order about background checks. And just to give you some perspective on where I stand on the issue, my family dates all the way back to before the founding of this country. My great-great-great-great, I don't even know how many great-grandfather was Richard Henry Lee, the guy who put forth the what's called the Lee Proclamation, which was basically the precursor to the Declaration of Independence. Now, Richard Henry Lee and all the people back then, everybody was armed. Everyone had a gun, everybody went hunting, everyone had a rifle or pistol for self-defense, just in case you had some highwayman try to rob you as you're traveling. Well, rob, rape, murder, whatever. And gun ownership back then wasn't a big deal. It wasn't controversial. It was a tool, just like swords were before guns were invented. So, fast forward a bit to writing the Bill of Rights and the Second Amendment, the Federalists versus the Anti-Federalists. Well, the reason they defined it the way they did was because well-regulated was meant to mean well-trained and everyone is armed. That was the state of affairs back then. And I'm gonna lane split this. See ya. So you got well-regulated. The messed up thing is everybody nowadays, because they don't understand the language from back then, everyone nowadays thinks well-regulated means a shitload of laws and everything is micromanaged. That's not what they intended. Well-regulated means everybody's trained, everybody's armed. That's my ideal state of affairs, is that everybody is trained, you got less accidents. A lot of people die from accidental shootings, kids getting a hold of guns, and that's tragic. That should not be happening. Human stupidity should not cause death. So there's that. And then the other point of contention is the whole militia definition. Well, there were plenty of founders and people who contributed to the founding of this country who can be quoted. And the most pertinent one is from, I think, Letters to a Federal Farmer, which says a militia is in and of itself, I think it's like the militia is the people themselves. Now the difference between the plain text word militia and a select militia is a select militia means the military, police, people who act in an official capacity, the regulars of the time. So militia is the people themselves. Well-regulated means all of the people are armed and well-trained. There you go. Okay, so now let's get on to the Obama thing. So Obama did an executive order to say all gun sales that are, say, done at gun shows, done by people who are regularly buying and selling guns, should have background checks. I've got no problem with that. I've got a concealed carry permit. Not in California, unfortunately. There's no reciprocity, so it's not valid here. But I plan to eventually get my concealed carry here. But anyway, I've gone through that process, and it's great. In Ohio, you take a class. It's a day's class, well, like a weekend type class. I think they reduced the time amount, though, to 8 hours. And in 8 hours, honestly, you cover everything you need to know. Then you have to take an actual shooting test to show that you're proficient with your firearm. And you're not going to be some jackass who just ends up shooting the wrong people. You also then have to take a written test that shows that you understand all of the basics. You understand the legal liability. You understand what to do in various situations. And it's all said and done. And then you have to renew your license every, I think, 5 years in Ohio. So it's cool. It's a great licensing thing. The thing I don't agree with is that it costs anything. You shouldn't have to pay to exercise your Second Amendment right. That's bullshit. And in places like Illinois, it's prohibitively expensive. It's hundreds of dollars every few years, and it's the same way in California. In order to exercise what is a basic Second Amendment right guaranteed by the Constitution and Bill of Rights. That's bullshit. You shouldn't have to pay for that. We're already paying taxes. It's supposed to cover it. So that's my only bone of contention. But otherwise, the training and certification, background check, and everything involved with the process is great. So I don't have a problem with Obama's background check executive order. It makes sense. In a perfect world, everyone who sells a firearm would make sure that you're not selling it to some felon, psychopath, sociopath, or whatever. Person convicted of domestic violence, assault, whatever. Not a criminal, not a terrorist, and there you go. Now, the thing that really pissed me off is there is a 2015 assault weapons ban that is trying to get pushed through Congress. That, my friends, is a serious problem, because it wants to ban all firearms that have one of a long list of accessories. And among these accessories is something as simple as like a pistol grip. Okay. I've got hunting shotguns that have a pistol grip. I've got hunting rifles that have a pistol grip. It's absurd. It is completely absurd. And if that shit passes, the black market gun trade in this country is going to balloon, and the sale and collection of guns made before the ban, the prices of those weapons are going to skyrocket, and it's going to fuck over, excuse my language, but it is going to seriously fuck over law-abiding citizens who want to exercise their Second Amendment right to own a firearm and grant you very effective, efficient firearms that would defend your property a lot better than the bullshit double-barrel shotgun that that the president and his dipshit vice president think is enough to defend your homestead. Well, let me tell you this. A shotgun with buckshot can blow holes in concrete block. So, I'm a hell of a lot more scared of some jackass with a shotgun shooting ammunition that has a wide spread, blowing holes like fist-sized holes in me, than an AR, which takes quite a bit of precision and training to use effectively. And the only reason I believe that the San Bernardino shooters were able to do what they did and kill so many people is because they walked into a gun-free zone and shot people who were crippled. People who couldn't do shit to defend themselves if they wanted to. It's just repugnant. So, that's my gun rant for today, but god damn it. It's like, if people were more sensible, honestly sensible, not the Democratic Party term sensible, where what they really mean is ban all guns, or ban as many guns as possible because we're just scared shitless of them, weren't raised around them, and are clueless. So, I'm going to leave it at that, and maybe talk about this some more later when I'm less pissed off. Cheers.